Alright, check it out. This is a 2001 Yamaha Warrior 350. Just picked it up maybe a couple days ago, and I'm just getting time to work on it right now. I've owned 350s in the past, and I've had very, very, very bad luck with them. I think I've owned 2 other ones, and they were complete junk. Didn't ever run right, didn't ever start up easily. The starter was always bad on it, the one-way bearing always went bad. Never had much power, kind of slow. So I finally bought a decent one. It already runs, it already drives, but it does need a little bit of work. I did pick it up for a pretty good deal, considering the prices right now in my area. So I paid $1,100 for this one. It was up for $12, and it was only like 45 minutes away. So I'm like, what the heck? Let's go pick up another 350 and see if I like it. I'm gonna give it one more shot. This one's already pretty nice. All the plastics are in really good condition. Seat's pretty much mint on it. So it's definitely been taken care of over the years. I think it sat outside for maybe 1 year, but otherwise, look how clean it is. I mean, for Yamaha Warrior from 2001, doesn't get much better than that. I mean, not a single rip in the seat. So that should tell you something. All the graphics are on it yet. Got the Yamaha logo, and then it looks like it was registered in 2017. So it's been sitting for a couple of years. You can see the tread in the tires are really good. Lots of tread left. Everything holds air so far. It's been sitting for, like I said, a couple days, and the tires haven't gone down, so that's good. It's got everything here. It's complete. It's got the muffler on it, full exhaust. This is for reverse right here. You can see forward and reverse. And I know it's a 2001 because I looked at the VIN. I believe the VIN was down here. If you look at the temp letter, you can see the 1 right here. And that is the VIN on this bad boy. So these are 6 speeds. You can see 350 6-speed. So they should go pretty good. I see a slight leak at the petcock right here. It's a little wet, so that's probably leaking a little bit. Not a big deal. These are air cooled, if you guys didn't know. Not liquid cooled, so they're pretty easy to work on. Doesn't take too much work. Let's see if there's gas in it. Might have to do a little start up here. So it is actually having a big problem with it. That's why I got it for so cheap. These typically go for like $2,000. So I picked her up, like I said, for $1,100 because it has a very bad knocking sound in the engine. And the guy that sold it thinks it might be the timing chain and the guides. He thinks the timing chain's really stretched because he said when he took out the adjuster for it right here, he said that was really far in. He thinks the timing chain is stretched really bad, and he said if you get a new timing chain and guides, you'll probably have it fixed. He said also the one-way bearing might be going or the starter is going because it does take a while to start up, and it kind of sounds weird. I've owned one just like this and it had the same problem. I think it was the starter or the one-way bearing. I'd never figured it out, but yeah, this one has a similar problem. So this issue with the starting up must be pretty common on these. What else? I think all the lights work on it, so that's good. All the brakes work. Everything else works on it. It does drive. I did drive it around for a little bit, even though it knocked. So I don't want to drive it too long with the knocking like that because it's really bad for the machine. It'll probably tear up the guides even more, the timing chain guides. We're going to quick test her out in the backyard so you guys can hear what it sounds like. But also the guy said when he did the oil change, he saw some black particles in the oil, and he thinks they were chunks of the timing chain guide. So that's not good. Let's check the oil, see what that looks like. He said he just changed it, so yeah, that looks perfect in there. He said there wasn't many metal flakes. He said just that black piece in there. So we'll dig into it today and see what the problem is. So if you guys have a knocking sound on your Yamaha 350, I'd probably watch this video, and this will probably tell you what it is. All right, let's see if it starts up here. hear the knocking pretty bad. Alright, so just took it for that little ride. As you could hear, it's knocking pretty bad. It does sound like it might be the timing chain. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll tear into it right now and try to figure that out. Alright, we've got access to the top of the head here, and the carburetor and all that fun stuff. We're going to try to get these front plastics out of the way so we can look at the engine from the side, because this kind of is in the way. Looks like it might be a little difficult to get the head off and everything with this frame. I don't know if the frame comes apart or what. That looks really tight in there. I don't know. Should be interesting. Alright, headlights had to come off, and then this panel can come off. Alright, that's a little better. Now we've got access to the whole engine here. That is nice. Take out the spark plug boot. We'll take a look at the spark plug, just see how it's running. Looks like an 18mm. So I got the plug out, pretty black looking. Lots of carbon buildup on there. So definitely running rich. Put the plug back in here. So let's take off this cover and then the timing chain tensioner. See what that looks like underneath there. Let's take a look underneath the cover. See if the chain is loose in there. Chain doesn't feel that loose. As you can see, chain is pretty tight, so I don't know. That's not good. I was hoping that would be pretty loose in there. Anything else wobbly? Could be the valves there. Knocking maybe? Well, let's take the valve caps off and check the valves, I guess. We gotta get this thing set the top dead center. Gotta get this cap off right here. And then we've gotta get this cap off. This whole thing needs to come off. Get this cover off first. Alright, we used this to get this off. Worked pretty well. That comes right off. Now we can crank this over and look for top dead center. Little cap comes off. Looks like 14 millimeter. So we're gonna be looking in here for a T right down here. And one of these lines should be lined up with this arrow at the top of here as well. Alright, you can see the T in there. The T right there. And then that line is lined up with this marking right here. Then we'll check the spark plug hole. Let's see, is the piston at the top? Yeah, piston's right at the top. We're top dead center. Let's get the valve covers off right here. And then one right there. Check the valve clearances. That valve is pretty loose right there. Alright, just looked on the forum. It said the intake valves should be between 0.06 and 0.1 millimeters, or 0.00236 to 0.00394 inches, and the exhaust should be 0.16 to 0.20 millimeters, or 0.00630 to 0.00787 inches. So we're going to test these out quick, see what they're at. The exhaust feels really wide open, so that one might be a little big, but we'll take a look. The intake right here seems like it might be tight. 0.063 millimeters for, oh, that just broke off there, nice. As you can see, I've used this quite a bit. We're going to feel her in. And that's pretty tight. So we gotta loosen that up a bit. So intake was a little tight, so we loosened her up. And now perfect. So let's look at the exhaust. So here's 0.178 millimeters. Let's see if that fits in there. Oh yeah, way too small. I think this one's really, really big. Let's see, I'm gonna go to the biggest setting. Yeah, slides right in. So we gotta tighten that up quite a bit. We'll tighten that up to, let's actually see if a 0.4 fits in there. That might be what the knocking sound was. Yeah, a 0.483 fits in there. So that's double the size. That thing fits in there. That's not good. That's really, really big. So I'm guessing that's what the knocking sound was. Alright, that's all adjusted perfectly. Let's get the caps back on there and attempt to start it up, see if that knocking's gone. Alright, so since the exhaust valve was so loose, we're gonna try to start it back up again and see if the rattle went away. Hopefully it did. If it didn't, then we're tearing it down and looking at that timing chain. Probably good to put the spark plug back in. Knocking definitely went down. Now it's just like a slight tick, which is pretty normal. Alright, so the ticking in the top end went away, but I can still hear it a little bit by the timing chain, so we're just going to tear it all apart and take a look. It doesn't hurt to tear it all apart. It'll probably just cost me a couple extra bucks for the top end kit, but yeah, better safe than sorry. So let's take off the head and then take a look at the whole machine. We'll tear it all down, because when you rev it up, you can hear it rattle a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint where it's coming from. I don't know if it's actually the engine or like the pipe rattling or what that sound is, but it's definitely different than before the valves were adjusted. Alright, looks like there's 4 big bolts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 big bolts, engine mount, and then that should come off. And we gotta get the carburetor off too. So let's work on getting that off. Time to get the timing chain tensioner off. Here's the tensioner. Looks like it's holding, so that's good. Put that off to the side. Looking here, you can see little signs of it rubbing on the case right next to the chain, so it looks like maybe the timing chain at one point was really loose and maybe it chewed up the guides. Not really sure. We'll be able to tell once we get the head off here. Alright, we got the head off. Piston looks pretty good in here. Not tons of carbon built up, so that's really good. However, check out the timing chain guide. It's all shredded. So that's probably why the chain wasn't tightening up the way it was supposed to. You can see it's just really shredded right there. So we'll take off the cylinder and check out the chain, see if that's stretched at all. There's some Loctite right there, it looks like, on that gasket. That's kind of weird. But the other timing chain guide looks good. It's just the one on the intake side of the quad. So we've got to take off the bolt right here to get the cylinder off. I think that's pretty much it then. Let's see. Yeah, there's not one on the other side, so just that 8mm, and then the cylinder should come off. We'll check out the piston. We'll take a look at the head here quick. Got it over here. You can see valves look pretty good. Doesn't look like they're open or anything. So nothing wrong with that. No dings on the surface of the head. So that looks all good. You can see where, oh, this is like gasket maker right here. It's that blue silicone stuff. Must have been leaking right there at the head. Yeah, not too bad. So hopefully the piston's in good shape, and then we can order up a timing chain guide and timing chain, and it won't be that bad. But we gotta check out the crank too. Alright, piston looks really good. No blow by on this side at least. No blow by on that side. Looks really crank feels good so far. A little side to side play. Hard to tell if there's any up and down. I don't think there's any up and down. Doesn't feel like any up and down play on the crank, which is good. Yeah, crank feels good. Good. I was worried about the crank. So let's get off this cover and let me see if I have a flywheel puller to get the flywheel off, and then we can get the timing chain out and then the timing chain guide out and take a look at those. This one's not that bad. Chewed up a little bit down there. Not horrible. This one's rough though. Just shredded. stator in there. Alright, we got to the flywheel here. I don't know if I have that exact puller. I have a unique one. This is kind of what goes in there. Very interesting. This goes over this like this. So it looks like the timing chain is right behind there. And the one-way bearings behind there that we're gonna probably replace. Let's see. The one-way bearing's good. So let's try to get this flywheel off of here. Alright, so this is the only puller I have right now. And I tried to put this side over there, but wouldn't fit. So looks like we have to order up a new puller. Looks like a custom one. But I will have to wait a couple days for that to come in. At least we found out what the problem probably was. So that's good. So we'll order up a new timing chain, a guide, a puller, and then a new one-way bearing right away. And then replace all that stuff next video. So, piston looks good. I don't think we have to do anything with that. And then the cylinder, we didn't look at the cylinder yet, but the cylinder looks perfect. Not one single scratch on there. So I think we're gonna be set there as well. I mean, it's pretty much perfect in there. So, we'll get a top end gasket kit, one-way bearing, timing chain guide, and I think that'll be it. Slap her back together and take her for a rip. Stator area looks pretty good. Doesn't look like that was rubbing at all. That's good. Flywheel looks good. No issues there. So, yeah, I really can't see anything else wrong with it besides that. The timing chain is probably stretched. So, stay tuned for next video when we put this thing back together. Should be pretty fun. And we'll go for a little ride on it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, we are out.